Hello, and welcome back to the Crown Sessions, where passion, knowledge, and development thrive. I'm your self-care sister, Shana, and today we are actually starting our career series. This is part one of two parts where we're going to start talking about the things you need to get ready for your career. So today we're actually going to talk about step one. That is your resume. So if you're ready to get down and get into those details, stay tuned. Okay, so let's get started. We are going to go into 4 steps in this process, and I'm going to talk in detail about each one. So first, I'm going to talk to you about your format. This is major. A lot of people do not talk about this part. Make sure your format is very clean, simple, and precise. You can make your margins narrow. That is perfectly okay. So you can make sure that you have the space that you need on your page. Also, make sure that any of your contact information, like your phone number, your email, possibly even your address, if you're going to add that to your resume, you can add it into the header. So make it in a smaller font and add it to the top header, so it's not necessarily in the body of your resume. The next thing I want to talk about is your name. Your name should be the largest part of your resume, at the top, in the middle. It should be your first name, your middle initial if you have one, and your last name. Make it very simple and streamlined. Also, let's talk about length. So here, it definitely does matter. I can tell you, I have done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of interviews, and I will not read past a page. So here's your rule of thumb. If you are applying to an everyday job role, that's perfectly okay. You keep it to 1 page. If you're applying in an executive higher level role, you can make it 2 pages because you need to talk about the things that you've accomplished so far, okay? So let's stick to 1 solid page of key information. And I'm gonna show you in the next following sections what should be included. All right, let's talk about step 2. Let's go into your skills and your qualifications. Here, some people like to write it in a paragraph form. That's perfectly okay. Most employers don't really mind. I'm gonna give you a pro tip here. Make sure you bullet point those items. I'm gonna tell you why. So as an interviewer, I've interviewed literally hundreds of people. And when I'm looking for key items and key words, trying to work my way through paragraphs is going to take me too much time, and I might skip over your resume. So make sure it's clean and concise and very clear. It's easy to do that with bullet points. Now, in here, you're gonna put your skills, so things that you already know how to do, for example, the programs that you're a pro in. So if you're a designer and you know AutoCAD, you make sure you put it in there. If you're a pro at all the full Microsoft Office suite, make sure you put it in there. If you are a Lean Six Sigma, either yellow, green, or black belt, make sure you put those things in there. They want to know. They want to know what kind of qualifications you have here. You can bullet point those main areas that you're strong in your leadership style, right? You can be skilled in project management, know how to do data analysis, right? Deep diving certain skills. I'm a professional at writing not resumes, but white papers. Sorry about that. So these are the kinds of things that you want to be able to tell those employers. I'm fantastic engagement and customer service skills, right? Those are the things that you want to note under skills and qualifications. Remember, keep it simple and streamlined. All right, step 3, let's go into it. So this is the part where you note your education. I'm noting this here because a lot of people tend to put their education all the way at the very end of the resume. Your employer or prospective employer wants to know your education up front at the moment because there are certain roles that require a certain amount of education, right? So put that up front. So in the education section, of course, you're going to put what kind of degree you have, whether it's an associate, bachelor's, master's, PhD. You're gonna note that in there. What college you got it from, what your major was. You can also note a minor here if it qualifies at the role. But if it does not necessarily go with that role, then you don't need to really add it in. So for example, if I'm a science major and I'm a chemistry major, I'm not gonna add that I was a theater minor if I'm applying to be in a lab, right? So you don't need to add it in there, but you do wanna make sure that you add in what your major was. In addition, you're going to put your grad date and any honors that you may have had while you were at that university or within that major. That is all you need to put in there. You do not need to elaborate. Some people also ask the question, do I need to put in my GPA? No, you do not unless the employer is asking, okay? So you do not need to add additional information unless it's actually requested. All right, part 4. This is your meat and potatoes. This is your professional experience. So in this section, you're clearly gonna note the previous jobs that you've had before or internships. It depends on what you're applying to, right? So you're going to add the company, what the role is, and how long you were there. So the dates that you were there. Now, here comes the information for the description. Some people put a little paragraph, right? Maybe 4 or 5 sentences. Like I said, streamline your format. Put in bullet points. Maybe a maximum of 5, 6 bullet points on what you did in that role. So what were your job responsibilities? What are some projects that you might have done and accomplished and done well in, right? And what were those metrics? You can add those kinds of things in that specific description. Now, if you worked in a company and moved your way up, for example, and you went from role to role to role, you want to add that. So for example, if I worked at ABC company, but I started out as an associate, then I was an assistant manager, then I was a manager, then I was a senior manager, you want to note that. A company wants to know that, hey, this person did really well and moved up, and they were able to retain that person throughout their career. Because companies want to keep people. They don't want to keep hiring, right? Turnover is not a good thing. They want you to be there for a while, and that shows your dedication to that company and doing the best you possibly can to keep moving up. So you are going to note each role separately. So you can have ABC company across the top and the time frame that you were there at the company as a whole. Now in each one, you're going to note, this is the role I was in, this is what I did. This is the other role I was in, this is what I did. And for each one of those roles, you put the time frame you were in it. Maybe you were in each role for a year or 2. Note that to the side, okay? And what those dates are. Also, this is a pro tip. Do not add professional experience from jobs that do not relate to the one that you are applying to. So, for example, if you are applying to a manager role, you do not need to include the year that you were a gardener to help out while you were in school, right? So you need to streamline your resume. Only add roles in there that directly relate to the job you are applying to. And here's another pro tip for you. If you are going to be applying to a role and you are reading through that job description and you know that's something that you already know how to do very well because you've done it in your previous roles, make sure you utilize those key words inside your resume. So if it says very clear customer service skills in the job description, make sure that you have customer service skills typed inside of your resume. A lot of people don't know that many companies now do an auto-generated scanner for resumes. A person might not be reading it through the first pass. They're trying to look for words and keywords that match their job description, and they're gonna pull those resumes out to have an actual person review. So you don't want to be the person to miss that auto scan because you didn't include really key words in your resume. So make sure you add those into those descriptions. It's really, really gonna help. If you have performed those specific job qualifications, make sure you add them. And remember, like I said, your resume is only going to be one page. This is not one page front and back. It is one page. So put in the roles that matter. You only have so much real estate on that page. Make sure you make it count. And talk about the really great things that you did, the major projects that you were a part of, the successes, the money you saved the company. All of that should be inside that resume. Okay? So let's review. Okay, remember, first thing we talked about was formatting. Make sure it's streamlined, clean, not very wordy. 2, you're going through your skills and qualifications. These are your bullet pointed items that you already know how to do. Those keywords that are describing the programs you know and the skills you already have. Number 3, you're going to be going through and adding in your education. Make sure you note what your degrees were in, as in your majors and specialties, that definitely apply to that role, as well as if you have any honors, right? And then step 4, your professional experience should only be jobs that pertain to the role that you're applying to. Make sure you note that, and if you moved up within a company and had multiple roles, make sure you add that in as well. They want to see that growth potential. All right? So I hope that this really quick 4 tips for your resume is going to help you be able to outline, streamline, and create a successful document for you to be able to give to your prospective employers. Now, please stay tuned for the next video, part 2. We're actually going to be going through interviewing tips. So first things first, make sure you go ahead and like this video if you enjoy this content. Subscribe to our channel because we're gonna keep dropping gems like this, people. I don't know why you're not a part of the Crown Sessions fam yet. And then comment below on anything, any questions you might have, and just let us know what you think. Remember, self-care starts with you. If you nourish it, I promise you, you're gonna flourish. I will see you next time.